Here we're trimming up a nearly 2-pound tri-tip, and we're going to make beef jerky out of it. We're going to slice it up in thin slices. It's got some marble through it. I know a lot of people don't like any fat in their beef jerky, but believe me, this turns out great, and most of this renders out during the dehydration process. Now we're removing all the fat we can and all the silver skin we can. That silver skin is going to make meat tough and all. You don't want it on there. So even if you have to take a thin layer of the meat itself, you're not hurting anything. Get rid of that silver skin. Now what makes this nice is you cut it against the grain, just like you would a brisket. Make thin slices. I made these between a 1/4 inch and an 1/8 inch. I think a little less than a 1/4 inch most of the time. Now slicing it against the grain is going to make it enjoyable to eat. I never did like beef jerky. You had to almost pull your teeth out before you get a piece of it off to chew on. Fixing it this way, I enjoy eating this jerky. No troubles at all. Well, we'll speed up this process a bit. Now I believe I only put about a 1.5 tablespoons of this sauce in there. Next we add soy sauce. Now this is salty. I'm not sure how much I put in of any of these ingredients, but we just kind of put it in, eyeball it, I guess you'd say. Add teriyaki sauce to it. This makes it taste really good. Now we'll mix it by hand and make sure it gets incorporated real well. Now I'm not going to drown it, cover it completely with this marinade. What we've done is do really good. I'll add some more here in a little bit. We'll find when we get it out of the refrigerator the next day and get it ready for the dehydrator, we'll find that this has actually almost soaked up all of this. Very little, I patted them down, but very little came back. Now I'm adding some fine black pepper a few times, and I'll mix it around. Not really hot. I don't like to make it real hot because the wife, if it's too hot, too spicy, it hurts her stomach, so we try to keep it down. The next evening we get the jerky out of the ice box and we start patting it down, and you'll notice that very little, it's not wet at all. That's what I say, it soaked it up. Very little dampness to it. And we load up 3 trays. Now these trays are 15 inches by 15 inches. So we can put quite a bit on each tray. Now we try our best to pat them as dry as we can before they go into the dehydrator. Get them as dry as we can. Well, I believe we found the last tray of the 3 we're using. Well, we placed the two at the top slots, and then this one here was about the fourth slot, I believe it was. Kind of make it more in the middle there. Put the door on it, and we're going to set the time and temperature. I set it to run 7 hours at 150 degrees on the temperature, but we actually pulled it at 5.5 hours. Well, I tell you, it looks pretty good, and I tell you what, it turned out great. This here, when you bite into it, it's going to pull apart. You're going to be able to chew a piece of it without having to pull your jaw out of socket. So, hey, this turned out great. And this fit into a quart-sized baggie. Nearly filled it all the way up. Hey, if you like any of those other videos that popped up there, click on it, and I'll meet you there.